Hi, everyone. I hope you had a great week. Today I'm here with Michael, and we are going to be talking about human design and how does that connect to digestion and so on. This is, I think, actually a great time because it's the beginning of the new year. I've spoken about the upcoming new moon, and I'm just going to be posting a video about the Saturn Jupiter square as well. That is all connected pretty much to New Year Eve resolution, New Year resolution. So if that's something you want to do to change your habits, to change your diet, it could be a great one. And then you've got still my medical course going on if you want to sign up. And maybe later on we can do a webinar or a course with Michael as well to see how the digestion and eating and so forth can be helped through human design. And by the way, he's offering 15% discount on his readings for a couple of weeks. So if you are interested, go ahead and check his services out. He does astrology as well as human design. Well, Michael, it's good to have you here. Long time. How have you been?
Yeah, it's nice to see you. You look great. You look shining. Very nice. All right, we'll talk about some digestion today. I'll pull it up. This is perfect timing because I'm getting a lot of people, asking, "Oh my God, I want to stick to my resolutions." But you have to stick to your human design. That's the whole point because that really tells you about how your energy can digest better. So this year, 2024, it equals an 8 in numerology, right? A lot of people know this. So 8 is a very solid number. It's a year to manifest, to materialize. And what I'm channeling in lately is that we need to listen to ourselves. We need to stop looking on Instagram and watching all these people do the keto, do this, do that, the raw veganism. Although I love these different modalities. And we'll see in the chart the different numbers, like the profile numbers, like I'm a 6'3", and the 3 is all about trial and error. It's like I've tried everything. It's all about bumping into things. Your profile number can actually tell you a lot. So we will dive into little things that I've found over the years, how human design relates to health, and we'll have fun with it. And then maybe Victor can tell us some things with the astrology if he has any input. Okay. Can you see
You
this?
know, I hate myself what is going on social media. One person says this, the other one says something else. You know,
Hmm.
recently you can see crap such as do not eat broccoli because this is poison. Do not eat garlic because this is poison. I mean, people are trying to grab the attention of others just for a couple of extra subscribers, and they're gonna come up with all these crap information, and people follow them and they start believing in them. I mean, one of the women is selling water for $88 because this is live water, apparently. I mean, crazy, really. Anyway, I can easily get upset over this.
Exactly. And I think this will all end in a couple of years. We'll touch videos on 2027, which is this more individualistic period. So we need to know our human design information based off survival, what's right for us. And when you decondition in human design, it's an experiment. So you go back to your own intuition and what works for you. And Victor and I will jump into our digestion type later, but we have the most sensitive one, which is simplify, simplify. We don't want to have the protein powder with 30 ingredients. It'll give us a headache. So you're built exactly as you are energetically on the energetic level, and human design is such a blessing. Okay, next slide. Let's go in here. Hopefully this works. One moment. Oh, okay, running around too fast. Okay, so just a little review. Many of you know about the energy types. So they can tell us a lot about our health. Like generators have a response mechanism. They have a defined sacral. We could see right here, it's the strongest energy center. Like, they're the gut people, like trust your gut kind of thing, if we want to simplify it. The sacral, it's very powerful. It doesn't mean the other types don't have power. They work with energy in different ways. So the generator gets a response mechanism. It's like, ooh, that lights me up. I want to eat this. Or you get a response mechanism. Maybe this doctor isn't the right doctor. You need to go find another doctor. So using your design to decipher what is correct for you will always be the result you need. And when you follow your human design, it just will change your life. And I'll be honest, I'll talk about later with my digestion. I didn't follow my digestion type a lot the last few months. I'll explain what it is, and I put on some weight and different things. So when you don't live your design, we see health imbalances occur. Okay, so manifestors, they get the urges. It's like a fire energy. They initiate. So what are you getting an urge for? What are you committing yourself to with a certain diet or lifestyle? Projectors and reflectors and manifestors are non-sacral. They're very sensitive. So I would say like grazing is a little bit easier with an open sacral area, eating lighter, eating smaller meals, perhaps. Not going for the three big American meals like the generator and the man gen can really digest. Not all, but most. So these are very sensitive sacral non-sacral beings. So just with these types, I would just say be more mindful, and we'll jump into their strategy and authority of how they decide on what works for them. Reflectors being the most sensitive, only 1% of the population. And in my opinion, they're the most prone to health issues because they're so sensitive. They're reflecting, look at this, completely open. They're reflecting everyone around them. Like Teal Swan on YouTube, she's a reflector, and she's, I would say, a very aligned reflector. You can tell that she's bouncing off energy that's not her. She's very self-aware. And human design is basically self-awareness. Know your defined energy, know your different tendencies and different defined areas, which we're going to jump into in a second. Okay, 1 second. I'm just hoping this thing goes. Okay, just to say, each energy type has a different way that it takes in energy, and we can see that in the different defined and undefined areas. I said discern what is aligned for you and what is not by following the strategy and authority. Number one thing in human design, the first year of learning human design, you have to learn about your strategy and authority. The authority is like your intuition. Like if you have a sacral, Victor has a sacral intuition. If the gut says yes or it says no, and his strategy is to respond. So you can look on Genetic Matrix or myhumandesign.com and first learn about your strategy and authority. That's the most important thing. Because if you're not following your strategy and authority, oh my God, sorry, running around here. If you're not following your strategy and authority, then you will be led into chaos, basically. Because when health problems occur, the first question to ask is, are they living their human design? That's what I learned from a really respected human design analyst a couple years ago. I had a lesson with her, and she's very wise. Maybe different views because I'd like to do human design in my own way, but she said that the first question to ask is, are they living their design? If they're not living as they are, that's when health imbalances happen. You know, I'm an emotional authority in human design, a lot of emotions and a lot of emotional eating. I lost 100 pounds, and a lot of it had to do with excess emotions. I mean, there are other things in the chart as well. So we can see in your personal reading tendencies of different predispositions or different things that can come up energetically. Okay, so we looked at
It's a little
the.
bit very similar to the four elements in a way.
Mhm.
Obviously, it would be lovely to see in a chart that the four elements are somehow balanced out. But
Mm,
for example, I'm quite a heavy fire, which obviously either I over exaggerate on the fire element or I completely disregard that, and then I might go to the air and or another element to kind of compensate on that. So lacking an element or having too much of it doesn't mean that we're going to use it too much. We might just overcompensate in another element. But
mm,
one of the first things that we would need to do in a medical chart is to look at the breakdown of the elements of a person and whether they are aligned with that from a digestion point of view. For example, too much fire in a chart, maybe we don't need to have too much chili, for example, because we already have got enough fire. So why are we boosting that? Or if we have got too much fire, why are we wearing red? Like I
mm.
do now, because I've got too much fire in me already. So we don't need to boost that. But for example, I'm lacking earth. So maybe I should be doing something with earth elements, which is leafy things, vegetables, the rooted vegetables especially. chamomile, and so forth. Maybe I should be focusing a little bit on that so that it gets balanced out.
Yeah, I love that. And the human design aligns with that because I have a lack of water in my chart. I think like really a huge lack of water. And I have eczema, dry skin, different things. And it correlates with the human design because my environment is called wet kitchens, which likes wet and moist environments. I'm more likely to be drawn to like moist food to balance the energy out. So again, the elements are actually the first place you should go in your chart and really look and see what is or too much of or too of a lack of and balance it out.
So lack of water could indicate that you would need to eat loads of soup, for
Mm,
example, vegetable soup especially. But anyway, protein can be important for water as well, depends on the chart. So maybe chicken soup, that would be a good go-to
mm.
type of place for you from an
Very
astrological point of view.
Yeah, 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 of course, of course. So this is defined and undefined energy when you start learning your chart. Defined means the chakra, the energy center is colored in. Undefined are open centers, which we're here to learn about life. They're inconsistent energies. They get amplified, and we're here to learn and gain wisdom. But do not go off and think because certain areas are open, you'll have health issues. I learned that it's not that. It can be open or colored in, and either one can be overused or over tampered with. And in the course, we'll have to go way deeper with this. This is way too complex to go into now. But for instance, I've seen people with open G centers, governing the liver area, and open sacral, maybe like projector client I've had with acid reflux. It's open, it's flexible. There's too much information going on in that area. They didn't have the juices to digest it. They have GERD or acid reflux. An open thyroid, open throat. The thyroid, loads, especially women clients I've had for years, again, I'll preface, we're not medical experts, we're not a doctor. Always consult a professional or a doctor, but we just here to inspire. So the thyroid, I've seen loads of thyroid issues. A spiritual, because I like the spiritual side of the charts. That's my what I'm good with. Like if it's open throat, you're learning about speaking your truth. Maybe in past life it was shut down, and then this time the physical energy is blocked. So there are a lot of interesting nuances. We need to look in the astrology, the karma, the soul path, but also look at the human design to help the client physically. So yes, I've seen open throat, a lot of people with issues, their throat tires out, a raspy voice, sometimes open throat. I had a ego manifester client who had several heart attacks because he had such a strong willpower that he had such open energy everywhere, but a colored in heart center that he had several heart attacks because it was like holding on to the heart energy. I think he was like a Leo even. So it's interesting when you see the correlation of all these things. So do not think that because you have an open area, you have a predisposition. You have to go have an analysis, talk with different readers, different people who can see it clearly and talk through with you. I have defined emotions. So lots of emotions, passionate musician. I have the 41, the gate of fantasy, right into my solar plexus area. Very passionate person. A lot of emotional eating. And Victor, he has a defined ajna. He's here to share his point of view. I have an open head. I tend to ramble. So we need to learn about our tendencies personally and also health-wise with our charts. It's very fascinating. I will say that open splenic area, if this is open, not colored in, be mindful with your immune system. I know many people with immunity issues are more prone to catch a cold. Like they should take protection when they go out around big crowds because they're more sensitive. Does not mean they'll catch it. It means they're just like, they're like a flower. They're more sensitive. So it's fascinating. Of course, in a course, we need to go very slowly and go through this, with great detail. Okay, so again, strategy and authority is going to help you with finding the right healer, the right doctor, the right modalities for you. You might watch a keto thing and actually your energy, which we're going to talk about later, certain genetics that maybe respond to that kind of diet, a higher fat diet. And like Victor was saying with the elements, maybe it's better for you. So you need to know your strategy and authority. You know, if you have a sacral feeling, your gut pulls you somewhere, you have an emotional wave, you have to wait for clarity. Last night I drove out at 10:45 p.m. to go get food. And my stomach was hurting in the morning because the emotional wave, which many of my clients know, I have to wait for clarity of my gut. My emotions like, yes, I want to do it, or I want to go do this, or you go have a hookup or something. And then an hour later, you're like, I should have waited for clarity. The emotional wave, I think, is the hardest authority in human design. So I went out on an impulse without waiting for clarity to go get food because the store was closing. So then I ended up getting a stomach ache. But if I had stuff in the refrigerator and I waited a half hour to have a midnight snack that was maybe healthier, it would have saved the digestive issues. So, solar plexus, if you have this, you have to wait for clarity. Do not jump into your decision. Don't even like, I booked like readings with people, and then the next day thinking, I should have waited a few days. So anyway, that's a tricky one. Splenic, they get an instant hit. You know, maybe they get a hit about a diet they want to try, or they get a modality. Environmental, they need to talk out loud. Mental authority, they need to have a partner that's trusted to say, well, what do you think of this? I need to, you know, should I consult this therapist or something? It's all about talking it out loud. Self-projected is like follow your heart. It's like getting it out of you. What are your utterance? What are you speaking out loud? I recommend recording voice messages and hearing what you're saying to get information that is aligned for you. Ego, it's based off your willpower, your what works for you, not in a selfish way, but what are you pulled towards, and what is your heart in a way like pulling you towards, and what do you need to do for yourself. And lunar is very complicated. All our reflector friends, 1% of the population, you guys have to wait for clarity. You're very connected to the moon cycle, like the full moon and the new moon. Track it, know what's happening. Maybe on a full moon, I don't know, a health crisis is more coming up. I don't want to say that, but or you need to go see a certain person to get something, the results of a certain test. So these are your saving grace. Yes, I'm not telling you like how you digest, but it's telling you how you make decisions. It's giving you all the power back. So you need to know your strategy and authority. It's what leads you to what's optimally correct for you. And in 2027 onwards, for the next 100 years, we need to trust ourselves, because the tribe and the social media and the media in general, they're wonderful tools, but they're not going to give you the tribal support that you need, that your design is giving you. So yeah, really important when it comes to health, manifesting, work, opportunities. You need to know how you make decisions. Okay. Okay, so my favorite topic in human design is primary health system. It's from the four transformations, which is very complex, and I'm sure there's amazing resources out there you can find, and great human design, even medical experts who are now in the field using this information you can go to. So digestion, this is why I came to I gravitated towards it, because I have a very unique digestion like Victor. So digestion, this is how one digests food, your environment around you, and information. So Victor and I have the first one, the hunter-gatherer, the first digestion, even though it's at the top. It's where we all originate from, but it's stronger in our chart. It's based off appetite. And what do we have an appetite for? Do we have an appetite to have a meeting with Michael? Maybe. And maybe last week I didn't have an appetite for that. I'm not feeling it. I don't want to hear from him. Do I have an appetite to go on this trip and get on this airplane? It's not just food. It's having an appetite. Do I want to hook up with this person? No, there's no appetite for it. So you have to listen to your appetite with this level. And it's the most sensitive digestion because it's sensitive. We live in a homogenous world. There's so many health imbalances because we're constantly mixing things and processed foods. This type is the most prone to digestive disorder with a processed food diet. So the standard American diet is out for this. You have to eat very simply. I didn't believe this until 1 year in my human design. I thought this was ridiculous and not accurate until I went through my experiment. This information should be enjoyed after 1 year of studying human design. You need to wait to know your design before you jump into this. That's important for me to tell you. So this is eating one thing at a time, very simple. You do sweet potatoes, banana, or in the morning you might do like strawberries and then blueberries. Or if you do an oatmeal, you might just put like honey or maple syrup and cinnamon, but you're not going to have like the packaged and all the crazy ingredients because it can cause brain fog or indigestion. So we'll dive in more what's consecutive versus alternating, but that's enough for now. So then the next level of humanity went into taste, which is all about discernment. What do you have taste for? What are you discerning what you need? This is also, I would say, a rigid digestion that's also very sensitive. I would recommend for these people eating with the seasons is very important for them. A lot of them, they need to kind of have a rhythm with the food. Like in the winter, it's going to be hard for some of these people to be raw vegan. I actually seen a lot of these influencers because sometimes I'm like, oh, do you want your chart read? And I look at their chart and they used to be raw vegan, but in the winter they change because this is very a seasonal, rigid digestion. They noticed they needed some hot food or something. So this is all about discernment, and I would say living with the seasons, I would really recommend for this type. The next one is also sensitive. The first three are the most sensitive to the food itself, and the next three in humanity are more sensitive to its environment while eating. Very cool. We'll get into that. So this is more about temperature. Crazy. My sister has hot and her baby has cold. They're opposites, which is cool if we could see in the astrology, like why are they in each other's, movie and their soul family? Is there something to balance out their energy? So anyway, I told her be careful because she's cold digestion. Don't give her too many hot foods or let the milk sit out or something because it's better for her. And she loves the cooling foods. The most beautiful thing about human design, it's for the children. If you allow your child to eat for its design for the first 7 years, the brain will develop better. The cognition, everything is easier for the child. And I wish I could eat for my human design. I actually had to repeat a year of school. In kindergarten, my brain wasn't fully developed. I was a slow reader. And I really think if I was able to eat one thing at a time, my type, and get all the nutrients out of that, I think I would have been further along in my development. Um, so this type, my sister, basically, if she's hot digestion, she runs colder. Maybe it's something with Saturn in the chart, like cooler. Is Saturn more of like a colder energy, you would say? Like moon with
Yeah,
Saturn?
cold and dry, same like Mercury.
Mhm. Exactly. So she runs cold, so she needs to balance with having warm drinks. This is also called hot thirst, like cold thirst in human design. Liquids are really important for this type and the temperature of the food. Okay. Next, we have calm and buzzing. This is more about your environment, sensitive to energy. So my father is calm and my mom is high sounds. So it's kind of conflicting. And I always wonder why they don't always eat dinner together. I thought it was a personal thing. They're not aligned in that sense. So we need to respect you need to learn your partner's human design because it could actually inhibit their digestive juices. So calm people, my dad retreats away and goes and eats in another room quietly. It's so cute. And like we'll go out to dinner and he like barely will eat his meal, but then he'll have a dinner after when he's in the calm. It's like, what? This is so accurate. Like it's insane. So then buzzing is about having stimulation. Oh my God, these people are the best. I remember during the pandemic giving readings to these people and they missed eating lunch at work. One lady was like, "Oh, I miss eating lunch at work and like driving while eating," because buzzing, basically her brain is turned on by buzzing. And buzzing means like a lot of the white noise, like they'll sleep with a white noise before bed, or they'll love like spices, or they like stimulation, like during sex, having some music on or something. So it's so interesting to see the nuance of our being and that we're all actually different. We're all individuals. Yes, we're human in that sense, but we're all different compatibility and we have to honor that. Okay, the next one is more about the sound and acoustic than the stimulation. So having music and sounds, let's call it, I like that. It's like a more fun way to say high sounds. Yeah, these people will turn on the TV. But again, if your partner is low sound, you have to respect and find a middle ground because these are about being in peace. The next one is direct and indirect, which is the strangest one in my opinion, because direct means they have a connection with the light. So these people like rip open the shades in the morning, need the light to kind of stimulate them and to see what's up. Whereas indirect are nocturnal beings. My brother is this type. And basically, their digestive juices are pretty good in the evening. Like they can eat before bed. Again, society is like, don't eat before bed, you'll gain weight. But in direct light, it says in human design, these people literally have the digestive juices that turn on if they eat before bed. Like they're the type that can actually just like hammer down the food, not physically, but in their sleep can digest the food before sleeping. Um, that's the only type I would say. So indirect, I would recommend eating later, like your fullest meal at night. These people generally are not eating a lot. I just had a friend come by like 2 days ago. He's indirect and it's hilarious. I gave a reading 2 years ago and he said, like, you're right about that. Like I don't even eat during the day. I just eat at night. So they'll snack during the day and then eat a full meal at night. Direct light, I would recommend maybe when the sun comes up, it kind of primes your digestion. This I wouldn't recommend eating late at night kind of thing for your energy. Again, human design is an experiment. So you will be at a level where you are when you have your first reading. It does not mean you're actually in your design. So you have to give it like 7 years of deconditioning to actually kind of feel into your design. When you eat for your human design, you channel more, you get divine insights, you have better health, everything opens up for you. It's like you can sense things better. And this past year, I started mixing a lot of food, and my digestive and my head was getting headaches. So it's important to really follow your digestion type. Okay. Quickly, we'll go through smell. Just checking the time. Okay, smell, it's like smelling the food. Um, Even like the odor of the person, if it doesn't smell good, it's like a sign maybe not to be near them. Taste, if you have taste as your strongest sense, so taste is like the taste of the food is really important, but be careful. If you have taste, they can be the most conditioned, as if you were eating processed foods as a child, your taste has been tampered with, so that you basically are kind of conditioned to have a different type of taste. You
Sorry,
need to
can you
go through.
just show the viewers where they can figure out their strongest sense and
Yeah,
strategies?
sure,
Maybe we
sure.
can demonstrate them and then they can follow.
Hmm. I would recommend getting a chart through myhumandesign.com because it's free, the digestion info. Genetic matrix, you might have to pay, but you can try genetic matrix. So yes, on myhumandesign.com, some people don't use it. You can try it. You can get your environment and your sense and your digestion there for free. You don't have to pay it. Some charts you have to pay to get this information.
Okay.
So that's it's important. So touch, eating with the hands, I would leave the forks away, use your hands to eat. I've seen a lot of clients, have to go to supermarkets and touch the produce before they buy it. They don't order online. Outer vision is mine. The food has to look beautiful. The person has to look beautiful. Everything has to be very beautiful and pleasant, and it primes my digestion. It's extremely silly, but I realize that I can't make a decision going to a restaurant unless I see a picture of the food. I thought that was weird that I could never make a decision. And then I was looking at what everyone else was eating. And then I finally would get a sacral hit. My sacral would go, as a manifesting generator, would go, ooh, yes, I kind of want that now. So these are very visual people, very good with photography, some of them, like getting the right picture. So that's another cool perk. Inner vision is going internal. This is a weird one. So it's like closing your eyes. I had one friend, he would like used to close his eyes and eat like as a kid and go inside and see his inner world. In the morning, you can close your eyes and maybe see what you want to do for the day or what you want to eat. It's going inside. When you close your eyes, you see more information of what you need. Feeling, I would say these are sensitized beings. They feel like chills or they feel things. So if the food is too intense, maybe you need to have lighter things. If it's too cold, like experiment with feeling. It's all about what is the feeling good? Then eat that. Or, if the feeling is not good, it's a sign not to go near it. I mean, in a way, we all have these things, but if you have your strongest sense of smell, it's your dominant sense. Both of my parents have smell, and I would bring durian in the house, and they would get so mad at me, and I'm like, I don't smell what you're smelling. Like it's not that bad, And they would get so annoyed. They said, "You can't bring that in here." And I realized both of them are smells, so I have to respect them because it can actually be nauseating. Another great thing is if you're on an airplane or you get anxiety, smell lavender. My mom, like when she's not feeling well, will have a pat of lavender and smell it to calm her down. it's good for your health. So awesome. Okay, environment, we'll just quickly go through. This is super, super, super important. You need to know your environment. Caves is about having privacy. When you go to the restaurant, having your back to the wall, feeling protected. A lot of these people can feel anxious because they need that. It's a very scorpionic energy. I would say like Scorpio ruling your fourth house, which we learned from Victor in the great astrocartography course, which changed my life, the information in that course. Because now I think of astrocartography completely different in life. So if you have a Scorpio IC or Scorpio moon, it's like a cave. Think of that if you know astrology, having privacy, not having someone sneak up behind you. These people in the restaurant, you don't want someone breathing down your neck, eating a burger. You need to be against the wall so you can properly digest food and information. Markets, my father has this. It's a mixing of things. Like he loves to go to the farmer's market, the mixing of cultures and different things. We'll go more into this in the course, but kitchens is all about creativity, alchemizing. That's mine. Um, Creative hubs. I love being in the kitchen. I need to have a nice kitchen with outer vision, seeing beautiful things, acai bowls, making beautiful meals, simple meals. Mountains is about being higher up, not being in the basement. So seeing the bigger picture, being higher. If you live in an apartment, it's probably better being higher up. Mountains is all about seeing the bigger picture. Valleys, this is connected to nature on the ground level. It's also an auditory environment. So, like listening to the birds. Maybe when you go out to eat, you prefer actually going to sit outside in the summer so that you can hear what's going on outside to properly digest things. Shores is about water to land, like two places connecting. Being near the water is definitely good, or if you get a property by a lake or something very nice for these people. They like walking to the water and coming out. But it also artificial shores, which is another type when you put in there's two types of every environment. Artificial shores like being suburb to city. They love when two things connect. It's very good for their health to be like connected in. I wouldn't recommend living in the complete nowhere, middle of nowhere. These people, their health feels better when they're connected to two places. Okay, let's keep going. Just very briefly, profile numbers, we were saying earlier, could help you with your process of nourishment. They can tell you what's right for you. So, like the one is to investigate, as we know, it's the first number. So, these people are very research oriented. So, like, they need to like research the keto and read about it, or research the paleo or the veganism, raw veganism kind of diet to see if it's aligned, like, watch lots of videos and get information before they go through with it. I've noticed with these people, they feel more confident when they have all the information before going on the trip. Uh, Three, which is mine, is so much trial and error in life. It's like I've tried every modality and diet. I started studying nutrition when I was 14. I was sent to like a weight loss thing at a hospital. It's like, and I'm a six, which is the role model. It's like these people have studied all these different modalities, and people come to me and say, well, what works and what doesn't work? But the tricky thing is it's chaotic because I'm always bumping into everything. I have lots of energy and I don't like to be told what to do, so I have to go and try other things. So the numbers can really help you in how you process information and how you can just accept that you do need to go out and have trial and error. Like you need to go out there and try this diet so you can kind of see if it's going to work for you. And make sure you trust, like 2024, really follow your design. Like trust yourself. Like we have too much information out there. The beauty about human design is that you learn it and then you just do what feels right for you. Four, sometimes I see with this is the opportunist in the I Ching. So it's all about relations. I would say sometimes maybe like going out with a group of friends. Maybe that's better when you're trying modalities, like go to a group yoga class. Maybe that's where you're going to find the stability in your health changes, is being in a tribe in a way, like relating to other people, opening up with other people. So I really like looking at the profile numbers of how our personality and how we can show up and try different modalities with. Okay, this we'll have to do in the training because it's very complex. There's just a couple different gates here. Um, there are three channels coming out of the root down below. And yes, if you have a 952 channel, the channel of concentration, these people use up a lot of concentration, a lot of power. My mom has this. There is a pull in the body scientifically that has a need for proteins. So yes, animal proteins these people are pulled towards. So it might be better to do more protein in a sense with this channel. I've noticed that my mom is more pulled to that kind of lifestyle and it works for her, but I don't have those genetics. I mean, I don't have these gates in my chart. 4253, if you look in your chart coming from the root center, which we'll look in a second, is really doing well with fats. Like I had a client, she loved doing avocado in the morning, but then the health influencers say, no, don't do fat in the morning, do fruit, or something. But actually, she did really well on her journey doing like, fats. Like she felt better, and she has that channel in her design. 360 relates to sugars. So I think I have part of this channel. I love a high fruit diet, a plant-based diet. It works better for me. I feel better with this. So it's having higher carbohydrates. And that's why when you go watch these health influencers, now you can laugh to yourself and think, well, I wonder what their design is because they're preaching and they're pushing everyone, supplement pushers or whatever. But that's their design. It's like, how could you sell this thing that's working for you, but it's not guaranteed for everyone? Okay, so certain gates we have to be careful. Like I have gate 15, the gate of extremes. So it's like trying extreme things. Like I went to a holiday party and I was doing liquids only. And everyone is like, what's your problem? There's like a cheese board out and everything. Like, so this person can go very extreme. Like Victor, gave me amazing reading a year or two ago and saying, like, be careful because like, this with eating, you can go really too much or too little at some point, so this might have to do with the moon. I have the moon with Jupiter. So it can go excess. So different things. Gate 5, great with routines. I feel like it's very Virgo routines, like to be like, don't let people condition you. Maybe a routine, maybe you need to try a diet routine that is working for you. Stick with it if you love routines. For me, I have gate 15 with extremes with an open ego center, like open willpower. I need like variety in my life. I need to change direction, trying different things out at different periods of my life. Gate 40 is a tribal energy. There's some human design people that say this is more responding to animal protein. I'm not exactly sure if it's credible, but the gate 40 is we're in a mutation phase, which we'll talk about later in the next 10 years and next couple hundred years. This was like the one of the few energies of meeting in a tribe and eating animals. But this is changing. It's going more plant-based over the next couple hundred years. The astrology probably shows this, freedom, age of Aquarius. So you're not going to really see this tribal energy and these digestive juices in the new children born after 2027. They're going to be more plant-based centric energies. They're going to be lighter beings and they want lighter things, and they're going to be a much different vibration than us, more compassionate to animals. So this is kind of changing, which we'll get into in a couple years. Gate 21 resources, we can talk about that later, but maybe I have this as controlling resources. So maybe it's accumulating lots of products in the house. It's just something I thought was interesting in my chart. Gate 55, melancholy, it's the mood to eat. So we're just going to look at a chart quickly and put this all together. Okay, please work. Okay, quickly, I want to tell you that left versus right. If you have a left brain, it's the top left arrow in your chart. It will face left or right. Left is active versus passive. So active, the brain needs constant nourishment throughout the day. It needs to snack, it needs to have different things. It cannot do long fasts. Whereas a passive brain, it's kind of like yin yang, passive, feminine. This is more, I don't want to say go fast, but these are the people you see on Instagram, like fasting here and there. Because they have a passive brain, they don't want to take in too much. It's a lighter energy. They will eat like smaller meals throughout the day, and it's better for their energy. In America, we're all living active, massive meals. And some people have the digestive juices to do that. But a lot of people will get sick taking in too much information or too much food. So active brain taking in more, like Victor and I have an active brain, we can do these long webinars, but a person with a passive brain should only be doing a 30-minute reading or a 30-minute webinar because they can only take in so much. These are huge topics, by the way. We have to have a training because it's way too much information. Okay, so just looking at the chart later, you'll find digestion, sense, environment. And also there's the tone, which is like the second sense of your environment. We'll do in the readings with my technology I have to get that information. Okay, let's just keep going because I know we're on a time thing. I said, remember, human design is an experiment. It's a path to differentiation, specialization, and individualized nuance. It's the path to you. So no matter what you hear online now, learn your human design and do what's aligned for you. 2024, get into alignment. This is the time. If you don't do it now, it's the information is just going to speed up with all these conjunctions and all these aspects coming this year. There will be such a push of AI and technology and ideas that it will become too overstimulating if you don't know what's correct for you, I think. So,
I mean, Pluto moving into Aquarius. Aquarius can represent fake food, so the genetically modified food. And of course, we've got the Jupiter and Uranus conjunction in Taurus that could also connect to food industry. And yeah, so basically you are right. I think this could be a year when people are going to have to change their habits. But one of my favorite things is what I see on social media nowadays that, oh, you should eat this organic stuff and you should eat that. But the problem is that they cost 4 times more than a canned, let's say, beans. And
mhm,
people might be able to afford those organic beans and tomatoes and whatever for $15, $20 when I can get it for $2 as well. So it's a tough market, I feel.
mm. Well, it relates to the
So I tend to be, even I don't feel, I should be looking at I mean, I do look at the prices in shops
mhm,
because I go down to one of the shops and then they sell a whole chicken for 25 euro. And
mhm,
I go to another shop and it's only €3.50 there.
mm,
So it's a bit, maybe one of the chicken is organic and the other one is just, but am I gonna pay 25 euro for organic chicken or whatever chicken that is? Because it's labeled organic. Is it actually organic or?
mhm. True. You know what? It's a big topic because in the training we'll talk about this later because your body is taking certain nutrients from the food. And it's accurate because you and I have consecutive. So the Ra Uruhu, this guy who channeled in human design, he said silly things, but he said that it doesn't matter what you eat with consecutive. You could eat roadkill on the side of the road and your body would take that simplicity from the nutrients. And that was really weird that he said that. So it's like almost like you open the can of beans if it's just beans and you eat that versus having some expensive vegan burger that has like 40 ingredients. You probably are taking so much from that single ingredient than eating the complex thing with all the mixed stuff that's going to give you brain fog. So it's really interesting. Same with the temperature. If you're eating a cold smoothie bowl, but you're hot digestion, your body is not going to assimilate as much as if you had like a warm soup. And that tells you a lot that you can save money based off your human design and that you can find different things that are nuanced that work for your body. Same with calm digestion. As long as the person is calm, my friend has this as well. And she had a divorce with her husband, but she started eating alone and she doesn't have any gastro issues anymore because she started eating in the calm because her body was able to take the nutrients. So this is really helpful to learn your digestion information. When you learn your human design energy type strategy and authority, then learn your digestion because it will save you time. I mean, honestly, I'm like a hippie over here. I'm eating like very simple things, like I'm not going out and buying coffee with milk or whatever. I'm having this grapefruit squeezed into water. It costs like 40 cents for a grapefruit. And I feel great. You know what I mean? I'm getting everything I need. Whereas I used to go out, run out to the store, buy that juice with 5 ingredients in it. You know what I mean? But I can't digest it. It just makes me nauseous. So anyway, you need to know your digestion info. It will save you a lot of stress. Yes, some foods are important to buy in certain states. We have to be careful with farmed things with heavy metals in the food. Some produce you can eat like non-organic, but some of it you have to be careful with lots of pesticides because that's going to accumulate at some point as well. So
Yeah.
it's a push and pull. It's a balance, you know.
You know, it's very interesting that many people say that we should be eating fresh vegetables, for example, but the frozen vegetable cost 3 times less.
It's good
And
too.
medical research shows that it does not lack any type of
Hmm.
nutritions. What
Yeah.
we need is just frozen. You know, so the problem is there is so much information out there, people are getting confused,
Hmm.
and hopefully this is all gonna get cleared up so that people can really take care of their body. Because I do believe that we might be at the verge of a new pandemic in a couple of years' time. When the
Yeah.
nodes are again immutable signs, and then we're gonna have the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in
Mm.
Aries. Aries can show infections. You
Mm.
know, I don't want to be pessimistic, but unfortunately, that could be one of the meanings
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah. So that
Well,
helps.
thank you
Thank you.
very much for coming around. If you guys are interested in learning more about human design, let us know in the chat box below. We can put something together for you. If you would like to get to know your digestion a little bit better, then you might want to reach out to Michael. He's got 15% discount now for 2 weeks. So you might want to be getting to know how you can make your own body better. I mean, it's actually interesting that recently I have been getting too many medical questions, and I don't necessarily like taking them on.
Yeah.
And I was actually wondering about why are people coming up with some medical questions nowadays? And of course, Saturn is in Pisces. You know, often that's the sign of lethargy and melancholy and kind of feeling lost, not being on the path where we need to be. And then, of course, eventually it might pop up in our physical body as well, which would be Virgo. So, but typically when it pops up as a medical matter, it means that we are on the last straw. It is something that has been building up for a long time, and then Saturn crystallizes those. So
Mm.
most likely, I agree, 2024 could be a year when people can turn their life around.
Yeah, and stay hydrated because one thing I really noticed about Saturn and Pisces is I have not been drinking as much water, which is very weird. Before that, I was like doing, walking around with like 30 ounces of water and doing all this lemon water. And the exact moment when this happened, since then, I have not drinking as much water. And now this year, I'm like making sure I'm drinking a lot of water because water, you could be dehydrated and you think you're hungry, but you're actually dehydrated.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for today, everyone. Thank you, and hope to see you soon again with another video. Have a good one. Bye-bye.